And referee Charles Robinson trying to get Chris Jericho back in the ring so that we can get this thing officially underway. And now the bell has rung. And this match is officially underway. For Chris Jericho, it's going to be his quickness. Oh my God. But I was just going to say for Chris Jericho, it's going to be his quickness. And for Goldberg, it's going to be the size advantage over Chris Jericho. But I forgot who we were dealing with. And Goldberg, just as quick as he is big. Jericho tried to use referee Charles Robinson as a bit of a shield to protect him from Goldberg. Went for a crossbody, but Goldberg catching Jericho in midair. And just slamming Jericho right into the mat. And Goldberg sending Jericho into the corner. This might end very quickly if it's going to go the way these past 30 seconds have gone. And Jericho writhing in pain. And for Chris Jericho now on the offense, but Goldberg pushing back Jericho. And Goldberg just keeps pushing Jericho back again and again and again. That's that size advantage that Goldberg has over Chris Jericho. What a press. And oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt the family jewels for Chris Jericho. And Jericho sent on the top rope by Goldberg. And then falling to the floor as Goldberg dropping Jericho face first on the guardrail, the ring barricade that separates the fans from the ringside area. Goldberg perhaps measuring up Chris Jericho for a spear, but Jericho just barely sidesteps. And Goldberg right through the ring barricade. Talk about dodging a bullet. Jericho just dodged one big speeding bullet named Goldberg. And perhaps that just saved Jericho in this match. That may have just given Jericho the opportunity he needs to take control of this match. Charles Robinson trying to get Chris Jericho back in the ring. Goldberg could be seriously hurt, though. Who would have thought the mighty Goldberg being injured? The thought of that. Let's take a look at this one more time from a different angle of Jericho getting away from that spear just before Goldberg was about to connect. Oh, and Jericho sending Goldberg's shoulder first into the ring post. Goldberg's been busted open. And Jericho gonna send Goldberg back into the ring. Goldberg has been busted open. Jericho gonna go high risk, high reward as he's up at the top. Missile drop kick to the head. Pulls the leg back for the cover. And Goldberg able to get the shoulder up before the 3. This is going exactly how Jericho would hoped it would have gone. Jericho able to take advantage of that big difference and making what could have been really bad is something into really good for Chris Jericho. That spear could have taken Chris Jericho out of this match. But instead, he had just a little bit of time to pull himself out of the way and creating the best possible situation for him as he goes to work on Goldberg. But Goldberg starting to find a little bit of something with one arm. Goldberg's going to try and be a one-armed warrior against Chris Jericho. And an armbar takedown by Chris Jericho, turning into a Fujiwara armbar on Goldberg. The Fujiwara armbar applied on Goldberg. Can you imagine if Goldberg tapped out here at Bad Blood? And Chris Jericho with a wicked right to Goldberg. Goldberg. It's not too often we see Goldberg in trouble the way he has been the last couple minutes of this match. But Goldberg able to get the boot up despite one of Goldberg's arms being practically useless. Goldberg is muscling through this match. He's pushing through. And a shoulder tackle. And Goldberg. Inverted atomic drop. Oh, what a back kick. Goldberg using his legs. You don't see kicks too often from Goldberg. More so than not, Goldberg's a hand-to-hand takedown kind of guy. And it seems that Jericho countered into an armbar takedown. Great counter from Jericho. Went for the cover again, but again, Goldberg able to kick out at 2. How much does Jericho have to do to take down Goldberg, who may actually be indestructible, or at least we thought was indestructible? At somebody someday is going to be able to stop Goldberg. Whether it's Chris Jericho's night or somebody else's time. We'll find out. But Jericho is going against a Goldberg right now that is less than 100%, which gives Jericho a much better chance and has to give Jericho a little bit more confidence in his ability to beat Goldberg. And a running bulldog by Jericho. And the line. Oh! He might have just driven that knee into the head of Goldberg. He might have knocked out Goldberg. And another near fall for Chris Jericho. Again, Goldberg finds a way to kick out. If you're Chris Jericho, you got to be wondering, how much do I have to do to keep this man, to keep this indestructible force down for the 3, or somehow force him to submit? Oh, look at this from Goldberg. Goldberg counters and just slams. Slamming Jericho into the mat. I don't know where Goldberg was able to find that strength from, but eventually just collapsing the mat. The arm is in a lot of pain. And Goldberg could be measuring up Chris Jericho for a spear. He's got that look in his eyes. And he connects with a spear to Chris Jericho. But he hurt himself in the process, and that's the problem. Goldberg, that injured shoulder of Goldberg, and you can hear the fans saying one more time. Instead, they were saying one more spear, but he's going to try and give him a jackhammer. But will he be able to connect? Uh-oh. Referee Charles Robinson missed it. That low blow. Is Jericho going to be able to slay this monster? And there's the walls of Jericho. Will Goldberg be able to break through the walls of Jericho and make it to the bottom rope? Or will Goldberg be forced to submit? As Jericho now pulling Goldberg back towards the center, away from the ropes, to make this more agonizing for Goldberg. Goldberg has never tapped out, but Jericho might just be able to add another accomplishment, but instead, Goldberg able to outpower Jericho to get him off of him. And another spear! That spear Goldberg may have just gotten all of. Goldberg, perhaps in excruciating pain, has been fighting through it with everything he has. With a spear that leads to this jackhammer. And that's gonna do it. Goldberg, despite being a one-armed warrior, beats Chris Jericho, Y2J. It wasn't easy, but Goldberg was able to push through the pain and beat a man who tried to outsmart him. Chris Jericho, all props to Chris Jericho here at Bad Blood, but unable to outsmart Goldberg.